Nation. The hobby is the people. Weekly news and interviews. It's your number one source. Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
Welcome to another jam-packed episode of the Sports Card Nation podcast, the show that brings you all the important news from the sports card hobby. We'll have some debates, opinions, new release schedules, and info. Plus, we'll also discuss the sports that so directly affect the hobby we all love. We'll mix in an occasional gambling tip or two, throw in some life stuff, and bring you great guest interviews from the hobby and sports dignitaries. And if you're good listeners, we may even give away a few things now and then. Now, here's the guy who wanted the cards and not the gum, John Newman.
Here we go with the hands-up boogie. Right arm starts, front, back, left, back, change, 2, 3, 4, cross, 2, cross, 2, cross, 2, hands up, front, back, change, 2, 3, 4, cross, 2, cross, 2, cross, 2, hands up, arm, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, turn, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hands up, hands up, hands up, hold.
If you're a fan of Jimmy Fallon, you might recognize that Hands Up Boogie song. He did that on a segment of Goofy Music. Thought it'd be a funny way to start the show. Extra points if you actually followed along. I didn't. From the 70s. Scary to say. I lived during that decade, so not unfamiliar territory. My name's John Newman. This is Sports Card Nation Podcast, episode 59. I'll spare you. There won't be any more disco music the rest of the way, I promise. But I do promise we do have a guest younger than me, so probably don't remember the 70s. But Steve Chada from 101 Sports Card Shop. He's going to be joining the show. He's also a one of our sponsors. Steve's really a good guy. I've gotten to know him, and we're going to talk a little bit about his Cleveland Browns because I got to razz him a little bit there. And he's also headed to Texas to participate in that million card rip put on by Topps for the 2020 release of the flagship product. So we'll get his thoughts and how that all came about and maybe some insider information or stuff we don't know about. Ask him about that. So he's been on the show before. It's been many months since his last appearance, and I thought it was time to bring him on again between some of the Browns news and him being invited to take place in this Topps break. I thought it'd be cool to have him talk about that. I've kind of made my thoughts on that on social media, kind of known that I don't know all the ins and outs, but kind of over gluttony, if you will. But, maybe some of the things Steve talks about will change my mind. I'm going in to it with an open mind before talking to him. So looking forward to that. We also have another guest on the show just for a brief appearance. Tyler Murphy, you may know him from Twitterverse. He's doing a charity drive, and I invited him on to plug that. So he's going to tell you about that as well. Here we are, episode 59, as we're midway through January now. Pretty quiet in the hobby front, but there's always news, and we'll talk about all that stuff too. So without any further ado,
here we go.
Sports Card Nation Podcast is your weekly hobby and sports podcast, now on 10 platforms: iTunes, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Public, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Breaker, CastBox, and Overcast. Listened to in over 26 countries globally, Sports Card Nation Podcast is one of the most interactive podcasts around, providing great content, giveaways, and some of the hobby's best interview guests without time constraints. Thousands can't be wrong. We want to thank all the wonderful listeners around the world, all our great guests, and our tremendous sponsors for making us what we are today. As always, without you, there is no us.
It's time for What's Cracking. All right, time to go around the hobby and the sports world at the same time for the news that affects the hobby we so care about. Big money received for a SP Jeter PSA 10. I'm going to assume not trimmed, but your guess is as good as mine. But that PSA 10 SP Jeter rookie brought in $180,000, or what I like to say, 1.5 houses. Speaking of trimming, we have another candidate in the allegedly. Speaking of trimming, we have another candidate in the allegedly trimming scandal category. Come on down, David Thorne. You're the next contestant on Your Caught Cheating Is Right. Allegedly, David Thorne from Small Traditions kind of built up a pretty good clientele in a business, and now it's come to light that he was trimming cards and actually submitting them rather quickly than some of the previous alleged trimmers, and even supposedly had an in at PSA where he could give a card to someone he knew and get a bump just by asking for it. So add another one to the list. The blowout sleuths are at work. I don't want to say again, I think they're constantly at work, and so another one added to the pile. Speaking of cheating and doing stuff illegal, huge baseball stuff going on right now, as you probably know. Not breaking any news here. The Astros cheating scandals kind of taking on a whole new element, with now supposedly wearing buzzers and wires under their uniform. There's a video showing Altuve with a walk-off home run. He's coming to the plate to score, and he kind of says don't rip off. You can see him mouth and point to his shirt to not rip off his shirt. They win the World Series. He goes into a player goes into the locker room, changes their shirt, then comes out and celebrates. Does not look good at this point. How much they cheated, I guess you can debate, but the fact that they cheated is not debatable. I know a lot of people are saying, well, other teams do certain things too, but here's the thing: the Astros got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Their manager, their GM, Hinch and Lolo, were fired and suspended. They were suspended first, and then the team fired them. And Carlos Beltran of my Mets, who, I'll be honest with you, wasn't a fan of the hire, so I'm not crying any tears of sadness. He mutually parted ways with the Mets as he was implicated in the scandal as well. This has just begun. I think more is going to come to light. What does Rob Manfred do here as the Major League Baseball commissioner? This scandal has the potential to really hurt the game of baseball, and how it's handled and what comes down the pike here can determine where baseball stays as a fan favorite, and if it does. I know that sounds dramatic, but I really do believe that. While we're on baseball, this is something I really hope is not true, folks, but there's a report that Mike Trout, yes, that Mike Trout, taking HGH, but knowingly because of a thyroid issue, and that there's a loophole which would allow him to do that. I hope that's really not true, but man, the one guy that's the face of the sport, if he's tainted or using something that's considered a performance enhancer, I mean, baseball right now is taking on a lot of water on this boat. I don't know what they're going to do. I really wouldn't want to be, as much as he gets paid, and he's one of the highest paid commissioners, I wouldn't want to be in Rob Manfred's shoes right now. He's got attacks on multiple fronts here on the sport, and I don't know how they come out of this, without taking some serious damage. So we'll see how that all plays out. The football, the Browns have a new coach. The offensive coordinator from the Vikings, Stepnoski, comes over. 5-year deal. You'll hear me and Steve Chada, who's a Browns fan, talk about that hire, so I won't spend a lot of time with that. LSU has won the national championship, as I figured they would, and Joe Burrow solidified his position as the number one pick in the draft. But it is the Bengals, and we'll see if they can screw this thing up. There are some whispers that Joe Burrow doesn't really want to be drafted by the Bengals, and maybe we'll pull an Eli Manning, if you remember that, where he kind of told the Chargers he didn't want to go there, and they wound up having to trade him to the Giants. So we'll see how this turns out, if those whispers are true. Panini Blockchain is live and for sale. 10 initial cards. For those that don't know, Panini Blockchain is kind of a Logo Man patch auto. 10 cards are going to be produced at different times. The first installment of 10 cards are on Panini's site. There has been no sales of the 10 cards as of yet. The price comes down each day, literally by the hour, and until it's sold. And so right now, all 10 cards at the time of this broadcast are at the $17,000 range. You've got a dual John Morant, R.J. Barrett, Logo Man dual auto. You got a Rei Hachimura, Logo Man auto, a Shohei Ohtani, button patch auto, some soccer ones. I'm going to be honest with you, I can't tell who it is. I'm not a soccer guy, but a dual patch auto for soccer, a Russell Wilson NFL logo patch auto, a DeAndre Ayton Logo Man auto, a Kevin Garnett Logo Man auto, Patrick Mahomes NFL logo auto, a Jerry Rice multiple color patch auto, and a Packer Charles Woodson. These are obviously all one of ones. Buyers have the option to have the card kept on site and just take digital ownership of the card, or they can have digital ownership and the card in hand. If they take ownership of the card in hand, they can sell it, and Panini kind of wants to keep track of how many times it's changed its hand, who owns it, and that sort of thing. It's a novel idea. I don't think, it started, I think, at like $100,000. It's down to $17,000. Not one of the 10 have been sold as of yet, so it'll be interesting to see which cards bring what and what levels do they hit before someone hits that sold button. Make sure you don't fall asleep with your phone in the hand with that page open and hit buy it now by accident, or you might be the proud owner of a Panini Blockchain card.
How you doing?
Odell Beckham Jr. has solidified his place as the second weirdest, crazy, Looney Tune wide receiver in football. Still way behind Antonio Brown, but he's moving up the ranks or closing that gap. He was at the LSU title game. He's an alum, obviously, so not a surprise there. But after the game, he's being shown on camera handing out money to the student athletes. That's a no-no. And then he's in the locker room and I guess there were some police officers in there, and the video shows him slapping an officer on the butt and getting kind of mouthy with him. And so now there's a warrant for OBJ's arrest. So, there's another guy that just makes more news for what he does off the field than on, and he's going the way of Antonio Brown. And, Antonio Brown, I don't have enough time on this show, folks, to talk about that, but that guy may have played his last game in the NFL in that rate, at this rate. How sad is that? All the talent in the world, and you got some issues that you can't overcome, and it basically ends your career. So while we're on the NFL, let's talk about the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Jim, I'm talking about playoffs. I'm sorry, man. We're that close to the Super Bowl, so we're going to talk about playoffs. You got Kansas City versus the underdog and mighty Magic Titans making an incredible run on the heels of Derrick Henry. And then you got the San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy G and that defense, led by Nick Bosa, versus the resurgent Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to pick... I picked before the playoffs started. I picked the Chiefs and the Niners. I'm going to stick to that pick. I think the Chiefs pull away late against the Titans this weekend. So I think you take the Chiefs and the points. And I think on the other side, I think the Niners win a close game. But I'll take Green Bay and the points. They're getting 7.5 points. So I'll take the Packers with a 7.5 point lead before that game even starts. And so my pick is the Niners, Chiefs, and then getting ahead of ourselves, if that is the matchup, I think this is the year Andy Reid gets that giant monkey off his back and gets his first ring. So we'll see. All right, joining me now on the Sports Card Nation podcast, Monster Energy guest line. He's one of the sponsors of said show. We had him on in September, and we talked about what he does and some of the stuff pertaining to the breaking industry. He's got a big event coming up here shortly we're going to talk about amongst other things. And so I don't want to make him wait too long. Welcome back, Steve Chada from 101 Card Shop. Steve, welcome back.
Hi. Yeah, it's glad to be back. I know we were shooting some messages there back and forth when I was getting on. I was getting pretty anxious during the Brown season, but I am glad to be on after the season is over. Yeah,
it's funny. I went to the as we talked last time. I went to the Browns Steelers game, the one in Pittsburgh, the rematch, if you will, from the helmet game, if we want to call it. And the Steelers wound up winning that. It looked like they were in prime position to sneak in with the 5 or 6 seed, and then the wheels came off when you using second and third string quarterbacks, and they got exposed. They really couldn't score anymore, and the season ended on a sour note, and frankly for both of us as far as those teams go. We'll talk about the Browns later on. We'll save the best for last. But, the last time you were on, I was talking about how things were going, and you said, you were kind of had a bad run of chargebacks, but then you had solved that. So 4 months later, just kind of a follow-up. How's that been for you?
It's been great. I mean, so the chargebacks really don't stop. It kind of happens all the time. But the past, it's been that long since we've talked to each other on the show.
Yeah.
So the past 3-4 months, we really haven't had any big hits, which is great. All the guys that are joining the break and the girls that are joining the breaks are awesome. I mean, I can't say, many bad things about any of them.
Yeah.
Viewership is up in all the live videos on Instagram. I've got a lot more viewers over there on YouTube as well, and I think that's attributed to I've been a lot more active on Instagram. So before every break, I'm shouting out the breaks over there on Twitter. I've been a lot more active on Twitter. So before every break, I've been shouting the breaks out over there on Twitter, letting everyone know I'm going live, which brings in new customers and fingers crossed, knock on wood, all the new customers that are coming in and the guys who have been buying in, we haven't had any problem.
Yep. Well, that's good. That's the way it should be. Now, if someone, you have an issue with a chargeback, do you track that? That way you can monitor that where that person can't do it again, so to speak, or come back in?
Yeah. So I immediately ban their email address from my website, so they can't ever ban again. I'll ban their email, their IP address, phone number, name. So anything that comes up near it, I'll ban anyone buying in, a mile radius from their house. I can get pretty granular with it. So it's when you're banned, you're banned.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it should be. You're protecting, your livelihood, and no one can blame you for that. Frankly, I'll commend you for that. That's just being smart and preemptive and that sort of thing. So let's shift to more positive spin. It's a family business now. I know the last time we talked on air, your mom was working for 101, and now you've expanded the family business, if you will.
Yes, sir. I believe it was late September, I actually hired my dad. So my dad now works with me. It's kind of surreal even saying it. And it just got to the point, I'm not kidding. It just got to the point where we couldn't do it anymore. He would use like all of his vacation day every time we were slammed.
Yeah.
And then he was paying for vacation days. And it got to the point where, we were talking about the numbers and then we were talking about health insurance and all this other stuff. My dad coming over is a very risky move, because now instead of I got to worry about paying my dad, but at the same time I had to increase or throw into his pay enough to where they can now pay for their own health insurance. They were using my dad's health insurance, and then now they don't have any. So we had to talk about numbers. We had to talk about, if you do this, what about this? If this happens, what if this happens? So we talked about numbers. Before he left, we got health insurance put in place.
Yeah.
And I assured him it would be covered every single month, never to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped him out a lot. And it's crazy. I know it's my dad, and I know it, it sounds like it's like great, it's a family business, but you still have to negotiate how much you pay him.
Yeah.
It's a family business, but it's a business, right? If you treat it like it's not, then
that's when you're not in business anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of weird sitting down with him. We were having Subway for lunch, and we started talking about pay and all this stuff, and it just fell together. And to be honest, it wasn't like it was a real negotiation. It's my dad. We talked about a price. I know where he needed to be, and we got there.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like, he's leaving and he's losing an insane amount of money. Me, my mom, my dad, leaving our full-time jobs, we're all losing money. We're all making less. But like I said before on the show, what we make less, we make up for, and we're happy, we're working together, our relationship is so much better. And then, like I said, the number one thing, though, that we had to match 100% was the health insurance. So that was huge. Yeah,
and it's funny, with health insurance, people forget about that. That's like benefits at jobs are sometimes more valuable than the pay scale or the salary is. And with parents, at a certain age, health insurance is important for anybody of any age, but you get to a certain age bracket, it really you need to have it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, and my dad's, he's just turning 60 this year, so he does have pre-existing, not serious, but he's got to take medication every day. So finding that an insurer who would take on those pre-existing medical, dings, I guess you call it, that was tough. I never really knew how much health insurance costs until this.
Yeah.
For someone who is not completely healthy, I can imagine your viewers, your listeners, their parents, when you hit 60, you're not 100%. You're not. It's very odd to be 100% healthy and not taking a certain prescription per day.
Or
right?
just be lucky.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it was tough, and that was the biggest hurdle. But when we found someone that could get them into the program, that we immediately just jumped on it. So
yeah,
it's great.
Well, that's good. Glad to hear that. How's it been? You know, like you said, that was September. It's 4 months now. How's it been? Has it been better than you thought? About what you thought? You know, speak to working with mom and dad and that too.
Yeah. So working with them is honest. It's a pleasure in and of itself. So let's say your listeners are listening right now, thinking, "Man, that sounds great." I will not sugarcoat it. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything that I could have ever wanted and more. They are and because growing up, you don't necessarily appreciate how hard of a worker your mom and dad are, because you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, you take it for granted.
Yeah, like you take it for granted. They go to work. See you later. I'm going to high school or go to college or whatever. Now that I get to see how hard they work, it is mind blowing, the work ethic that they have, and I know where I get it from now.
Yeah,
it's absolutely is amazing.
So you see yourself in them.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so much has happened since September. It's just I can't. It's even hard to put into words. So since September, I'll just try to rattle it off here. We have had some crazy milestones that we've hit. So if your listeners who are listening, you guys know what the product called Transcendent is. It's a $30,000 box of cards. That was my big thing last year, is to really try and do products or do breaks that I have never done before, and I never thought I could do before. So I got to break a box of Transcendent that was allocated to me. I was actually allocated from my distributors 2 cases of Transcendent, and there were only 100 made. So to get allocated 2 cases of Transcendent, you're doing something right. So after Transcendent moves along, then you get the Zion craze.
Yeah.
And that's when, it took me a while, but for some reason on the 130th box of contenders or Prism draft picks, I said that if I hit a Zion auto, I'd get a tattoo on my left butt cheek of Zion's autographs. And I tell you what, my dad was there when it happened. Did we think it was going to happen? No. We had opened 135 boxes, I believe, of Prism Draft Picks basketball. Now, in Prism Draft Picks basketball, every single pack is an autograph. There are 6 packs per box, so you do the math. So it's 135 times 6.
Yeah,
that's over 700 autographs that we did not hit a Zion, right? So I'm thinking to myself, we are perfectly fine. We are never going to hit it.
You're in the clear.
We hit it. I got a tattoo on my butt cheek.
Now, I gotta ask you. I did see that on social media. That was hilarious. Is that your first tattoo ever, or do you
first tattoo ever? Unbelievable.
Now, here's the question: is it going to be the last tattoo?
So no, I mean no, it's not going to. But here's the thing: so I already had like mock-ups for tattoos. But I just never really got around to getting them. But Jess my wife was not happy. So she thought I was joking about it when I wasn't. Thought that, I was never going to get it, but I did. And then when I did get it, she was extremely unhappy. She didn't see it or didn't want to see it for like 2 or 3 weeks. She wouldn't even entertain it. She wanted nothing to do with it. So, but since then, I mean, we've hit some crazy milestones. So we've hit a bunch more Zions after that. We donated over, $2,000 to a toy drive for children in Southern California.
Yep.
We did our Christmas. We did a lot of Christmas giveaways. I gave away over $5,000 of merchandise and Panini Topps boxes on Christmas. And then the big thing is, I never thought I'd be here, but I hired 2 other breakers to join the team.
Oh, okay.
So I saw there's this niche market where everyone keeps asking me, would you ever open a card shop? Would you ever open a card shop? I'm like, okay, so you got to think in your head. You get the gears are flowing. What do you do when you go into a card shop? You walk in, you buy a box, you rip it, you walk out. That's it. Why do I need overhead and to pay rent to have that? Right?
Yeah, we're going to take a momentary break. to get a word from our sponsor, 101 Card Shop. When we come back, we'll hear about Steve and 101's expansion. One of One Card Shop offers a tremendous breaking experience, great customer service, and they're constantly pulling fire. Steve and his family take care of you like one of their own and treat you right. Anyone can break, but no one treats you like One of One. Come check them out on Instagram at one_of_one_card_shop. For all the hot breaks, get a gold mailer headed your way. It's funny, not to cut you off too, Steve, there's a lot of these card shops, they break to supplement their income to pay their overhead.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's really cool about my operation is that I don't need a brick and mortar. The only thing that a brick and mortar would help me on is direct pricing to Topps and Panini.
Yeah.
I move enough product to, I could walk out and in 2 weeks I could have a brick and mortar if I wanted one. The breaking I do now would 100% hold it up. I ain't got to worry about it. But do I want to do that? No. I mean, I wake up, I walk 15 feet into my office, and then I break.
Yeah.
Right? You got to deal with a whole bunch of other liabilities when it comes to a brick and mortar. So I thought to myself, and I've been thinking, how could I be an online card shop? And I see it all the time, and your listeners know who Bullpen LA is, and they know who RBI Crew is.
Yep.
And I was in their live videos, and just watching. I'm in Bullpen's live videos. I'm just watching. None of their clients are my clients.
Yeah.
And some of them are. There's definitely some co-mingling, but it's not a lot. They've got their guys, and I've got mine. So I just thought, why not just offer personals? I mean, I get allocated so much product that people don't see that I'm selling on DealerNet. I'm selling back end of my card shops because I don't want it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to rip it. So I hired two individuals. I hired my buddy Debo, who I've known since I started on Instagram breaking. One of my best friends, if not my best friend, in the card industry. And he's a totally different world, a totally different type of breaker than me. Now these are two guys, they only do personals. And we'll clear the air on that. They'll never break. They'll only do personals, maybe some hit drafts, but no breaks. Never a PY. That's me. And that's where we had to clear the air with them. And the other guy that I have working for me is Capital City Collectors, who is Noah, who had actually just been, he was my employee for the past 3 months prior to that, even before we did our first interview. All he was doing for me was back-end website work.
Yeah.
He told me one day, Steve, did you know that I'm a broadcast major? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, catch me on ESPN Plus tonight. I'm doing play-by-play for a minor league baseball team. And I was like, what? Like, wait a minute here. And he was like, yeah. He's like, check me out. So, and he does like that, in the summertime, he does like, minor league baseball, not minor league, but there's a league out in Virginia area that he does for them. But it's on ESPN Plus. He does a lot of soccer for his college. He does volleyball for his college. And I checked him out one time. Kid's got a ridiculously good voice.
Yeah. He
knows cards, got a great voice. He's ahead of the game. So I was like, wait a minute. We got a potential to have a three-headed monster.
Yeah.
When it comes to breaking personalities, I didn't want to hire somebody who had my personality. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going for somebody who has either. So if you put me in the middle of my personality is the median, right?
Yeah.
I want someone who is more crazier than me and is more vulgar than me, and quite honestly tells you like it is and is very blunt, right? So I hired a 6'5" Bostonian who will tell you like it is. When you rip a personal with him, if it's a bad box, you'll know it.
Yeah.
So that's Debo. He's 6'5", 6'6", a huge dude. And if you have a bad box, he'll let you know, and then he'll try to give you something for free.
Yeah.
Right? So you got, and he gets a little raunchy on the live videos, and we got me in the middle. I don't get raunchy, only past like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you've got down the scale to the left is Noah, who is extremely polite, extremely nice, knows his cards ins and out. So before he breaks open a product, he's already hit the checklist up. He knows every parallel, extremely knowledgeable, and you've got that end of the spectrum. So if your clientele doesn't like me and he likes Debo, that's fine. Open packs for Debo. If he doesn't like either of us and he likes Noah, that's fine. Open packs for Noah.
Well, you got all the bases covered, all the personalities. You know, it's like small, medium, large. It's like
crazy.
It's like ordering a coffee.
That's that's funny you said that, because that's exactly what it is. Noah is a 5'8", $110, soaking wet, really small kid. I'm right there in the middle. I'm like a Millard. I'm a husky kid. Debo is just massive human being. He's like a mountain of a man. So you're 100% correct, and it's great because I needed more time in the day. I'm busy, and I was like, oh, what's your day schedule look like? And it's like, I run consignments, right? So I have no time to put all these cards on eBay. So these guys will break personals for me from 1 to 5 p.m. or 1 to 6:30 p.m. if Debo's on. So it's perfect. And like I said, I am very hobby conscious. I do not want to take customers from RBI. I do not want to take customers from Bullpen. Those two guys go on and do the same thing that we do. So I wanted to make very, very sure that the majority, when I say majority, I mean 80 to 95% of my guys do not buy the same thing, do not buy personals from them, because like I said, I'm very hobby conscious. I do not want to steal business from an LCS, ever. Yeah. So my guys don't buy them with them. Now I'm just opening it up for personals, and we'll see where it goes. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But again, it's just another venue for my guys, if they would not like to get into a break with a certain product, they can buy a personal of that product. Yeah. And keep all the cards themselves.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's expanding what you can offer, and nothing wrong with that. And I'll be honest with you, the fact that you're considerate of other businesses and brick and mortars and what other people do, and that's pretty rare in this industry, as you well know. And so hats off to you there. Going back to your parents, I'm assuming that they're not as knowledgeable card wise as maybe you guys are that are doing those breaks. From working, have they picked up stuff? Or are they kind of learning stuff almost by osmosis?
It's really scary because so my mom and my dad sort, and it's really scary to hear my mom start talking about rookie NBA players.
Some of the names,
it's so weird. It's she's talking about Ja Morant and Kevin Porter Jr. for the Cavs, and she's talking about Goga Batanzi for the Pacers. And Mom, how do you know this stuff? Stop! It's weird. I didn't think she'd pick up on this stuff, but she does, and that's what she should be doing. She's a sponge, and they both are. Yeah. But when it comes to modern cards, they know there's as much as they need to. But here's the other deal: when it comes to older cards, any cards from the 20s to probably the late 80s, my dad's an expert. Yeah. You can ask him anything, and he'll know it. Yeah. So.
Well, again, you're covering all the base. You're no stone unturned, as they say. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I spoke on the show last week about the big event Topps is doing, the Million Card Rip in Dallas, and come to find out, you've been fortunate to be selected to be one of the breakers. So you'll be heading to Dallas. I know we talked a little bit off the air about it. I know you can't say everything, and I respect that, and everyone else should as well. Kind of share what you can, kind of how that came about, and what what you can share, what the event's going to be like.
Yeah, and it's absolutely crazy. So I'll start cradle to grave with this event, and it's kind of crazy how it even came about. I have been talking to a distributor, I have two main distributors. I've been talking to them for a really long time about really getting my name out there. And you know this as much as your listeners, that Instagram is really, in my opinion, I am on all three main social media outlets for the hobby. In my opinion, Instagram is the number one place for this hobby. It is. It is the number one place. It's the best out of all three. But not a lot of people use it. It's looked at as a millennial social network. Not a lot of boomers are going to be using it. My dad sure as hell doesn't use it. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't have a negative connotation to it when it comes to the hobby, but just the app itself always has had a negative connotation. So I always talk to my distributors. And if you have anybody listening who wants to be a breaker, I advise you never email back and forth with your distributors. Always talk to them. I hit on this last time too. Yeah. building up a relationship and that rapport over the phone.
Yep.
And hearing your voice and your tonation is much different than shooting an email saying, "Can you do me a favor?" Right?
Yep. Yep.
They can hear how desperate you are in a phone call. They know that you need something. I never email them at all.
Yep.
I will always call. So every time they call me, I'm saying always put chirping in their ear, like, guys, listen, you guys know Instagram is not where it needs to be. Is there any way you can get me out there? Anywhere you can get us out there. We gotta promote this. Is there any events I can go to? Anywhere. So, they let me in on a couple of the Tops events. You got the Transcendent Party. You've got the Tops Industry Conference that's in Arizona. There's a couple Panini ones that are in California, like the Rookie Premiere and all that stuff, which is great. I'm going to try to attend those, and I'm thinking to myself, there got to be something else. So what's funny is, a couple weeks ago, I'm on a call, and I'm on a call with the distributor that is conferencing me in with Tops, and they asked me they chose me to be a breaker for the Million Card Rip Party. And then they explained it to me, and immediately I've got goosebumps because this is what I've always wanted, right? And I'm more excited for the fact that this is for me and my company, right? I get it. I'm going to put my name out there like you wouldn't believe. But at the same time, I am and they didn't say this, but I feel like they chose breakers where they wanted to choose. They chose me because I am the biggest breaker on Instagram, right?
Yep.
So it's a no. In my eyes, it's a no-brainer to choose me because I've got almost 15,000 followers. I can reach tons of people with my posts about this and get the awareness out there. It's a no-brainer. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, finally, I'm the only breaker on Instagram that is going. They are going to tell people when they're live, this is one-of-one card shop. He only breaks on Instagram. And then people are going to go, wait a minute, he only breaks on Instagram? That's a thing? And then they're going to come over to Instagram, see how amazing it is, make an account, and then that whole hobby world on Instagram is going to grow. That's my main thing. That's the main thing I urge everyone to do is just make a card account. Don't use your personal.
Yeah.
I'd rather you be card guy 555 than John Davis and with a picture of you and your wife. And you got to have a certain level of anonymity over on Instagram. And that's just the way it is. So I know why they picked me. I can see it. It's tangible. It's great. Now about the event, they're walking me through it, telling me all this stuff, telling me, I'm signing all these forms. So there's there's an NDA. Here's what you can say. Here's what you can't say. So what I can say is that it's going to be unbelievable. There are 18 breakers there. Each of us will open at a minimum of 18 jumbo cases of Topps 2020 Series 1 baseball. This is it's going to be an insane event. There will be special guests there. I will guarantee you this. It is a closed event. That is the only downfall, I believe. It is a closed event. You can't get in, but there are some reasons why it's a closed event. There are going to be special guests there. There's going to be a lot of alcohol there. It's only 21 and over.
Yeah.
There's going to be, and I can say there's going to be Guinness Book of World Records is going to be there. And we're breaking a record for, the world's largest group break. It's going to be insane. And it's just, the things that they're doing at the party are things like at the Million Card Rip Party are things that I have would have never thought of. So when you have a breaker and I talked about the Zion butt tattoo, and that was a bounty. Topps got really creative with this, and they're doing bounties, which is the coolest thing ever. So they're going to start, and I'm not kidding you guys. Each breaker has 9 hours to break 18 cases. We have to break 18 cases in 9 hours. That's 2 cases an hour. Noah, who is extremely analytic, already gave me the timeline needs to be done. He's like, you need to be here per pack, you got to be here per box, you got to be here per case. So, we're going to be fine, and I have no problem. I can do this all day. I'm in my element because I rip 9 hours at a time. So, stamina-wise, I'm good. Is my dad going to be good? I don't know. Is Noah or Debo going to be good? I really don't know. But I know I can do this because I stream 9 hours at a time.
Yeah.
So
you've been training for this your whole life.
Exactly. So when they told me this, they were like, "Is this going to be a problem? A 9-hour stream?" And I was like, "Have you not watched me before? What? You know who you're talking to? This is a guy that breaks from 7 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. sometimes. It's crazy." So they're doing some really cool things. When it comes to bounties, like I was saying, so they're going to have everybody start at the same time. First person to hit a Gavin Lux rookie card gets a bunch of freebies from Topps, right? Like auto, like an auto. First person to hit a Bo Bichette rookie auto gets a bunch of freebies. Jordan, bunch of freebies. If you get the Celebration of Decades ticket in your case, a bunch of freebies. If you get the a bunch of these little insert cards that are randomly inserted throughout the and I want to state that a lot of people think that these inserts are only for the party. No, these inserts are throughout the entire product.
Yeah.
They're not putting these in just for the party.
Yeah.
So we might not hit any of these, but they're saying if you hit it and you're the first to hit it, you and your guys who bought in are going to win a ton of free stuff.
Yeah.
It's it's the coolest things that they're doing. We're talking about giving away hats, autographed memorabilia, shirts, jersey, and all this cool stuff. So it's kind of like a cool little competition inside that breaking event.
Yeah.
And it's all going down inside AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, Jerry's World, which is even cooler.
We're going to pause for a quick word from a sponsor, but when we return, more about the million card rip in Dallas with Steve Chada.
What's up, Sports Card Nation? Matt here from Firebox Cases. Since I started making fireboxes, one of our slogans has been, keep your fire in, not real fire out. Well, that's not true anymore. Starting today, Firebox does both. Our Firebox Pro line of cases is heat resistant to 194 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's just one element of protection Firebox Pro offers. They are waterproof, dustproof, UV-proof, chemical resistant, crush resistant, the list goes on and on. The Pro line hangs its hat on protection, but let's not forget about improved capacity. All Pro models hold huge amounts of slabs, but the big daddy of capacity is the Slab Locker, the hobby's first whole collection solution. It holds an incredible 330 PSA slabs or 205 BGS slabs in any combination, and is still easily portable thanks to its built-in trolley. In fact, all fireboxes are easily portable because Firebox is the only brand of card case that gives you a detachable shoulder strap with every model. You've heard me say it by now, but the hobby isn't in the junk era anymore, so why are you still storing your cards in boxes made of junk? Go to fireboxcases.com today and use promo code SCNPOD to get 10% off your order of a premium case to reflect your premium cards. That's fireboxcases.com, promo code SCNPOD to keep your fire in and real fire out.
So the breaking is going to be on the turf itself? Everyone's going to be on the field?
No, so we will not be on the field. We will be in the club section.
Yeah.
And we will all be, I believe we're all going to be like in a, if I was them, I would put us all in a circle, right? So they can, if they need a camera guy in the middle, they could, I don't know how they're doing it. They haven't told us yet. We get 2 6-foot tables, which is, to me, is wild because they need us. We have to sort during the event, by the way. So the fact that we only have 2 6-foot tables is kind of shocking.
Yeah.
We should have like a 6-footer and 2 8s to sort this. This is going to be a monster. And just the logistics alone for this break is so unfathomable. It's crazy. So we have I'll have Debo or Noah ripping packs to my right. I show the cards. If I hit something that needs top loaded, I give it to my dad to the left. Whoever's not opening packs is going to be sorting to the left. And then when you sort it, it's unbelievable. So we got to be moving. It's got to be a well-oiled machine, and it's nonstop for 9 hours. You're not allowed to stop.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, probably because it's really expensive to stay at the 10th hour. I don't know, but
it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.
Exactly. It's crazy, and it's going to be the funnest thing ever. This is like the funnest event I could ever imagine going to, because these are the cool things that we need to have happening in the hobby.
Yeah,
it really is, right? I mean, Panini doesn't do much of this kind of stuff. We talked about it a little before. We touched on this a little bit before we went live. But Topps does this, and I'm curious, as if you are, to see what Panini is going to do.
Yeah, I mean that it's like Coke and Pepsi. They like to, the old 80s cola wars. I feel like we're now in the era with Topps and Panini being the big two. They sort of, they may not admit this, but I think they look at what each other's doing and try to one-up each other in some sort of way.
Yeah. I mean, you had Bowman. What was it? Bowman StockX, right?
Yeah.
You had that. And then now, after Bowman StockX came out for Topps, then Panini came out with the what was that? Dutch auction.
Yeah, which that we could do a whole show.
Yeah, you do a whole show on that. And then after that, you had blockchain with Panini.
Yeah,
right?
That's going on now. Topps doing the Montgomery Club exclusives, and so
yeah, we talked about that in DMs a little bit earlier, a couple months ago.
Yeah,
and now you got Topps doing the million card rip party. It's just they're really flipping back and forth, and if you're an outsider looking in, you're like, wow, this is.
Well, a lot of the hobby stuff, this, Steve, too. A lot of the hobby stuff is being reported on by, regular news outlets. I'm not talking about hobby publications or hobby sources. This stuff is going beyond that, including some of the negative stuff as well. But even some of the non-negative stuff is making it out there, and so the hobby's blowing up. Whether you agree with everything or not, it really doesn't matter. It is what it is. I just don't want to be the guy that's got to clean up all the wrappers after the event.
I know. I have no clue what we're doing. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait. I can't wait. So it will be amazing. And if you guys want more info on it, I have it on my Instagram page. Topps. It's all over Topps.
Yeah. Now, to buy into your breaks pertaining to the event, they go through you. It's not. Is it through Topps or is it through you?
You'll go through me. So you'll go to my website, go to Baseball Breaks, or it's the main. You'll see. You can't miss it. It's huge. It says on my website, www.oneofonecardshop.com. It says Topps million card event. Just click the main picture. It takes you right to it.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. So there are 20 breakers going. We were kind of urged in group emails to not do the same breaks, as everybody else, right? So I'm doing mine a little bit differently than Badger breaks, than Bomber, than Dave and Adam, than Grand Slam, than Jaspy, right?
Yeah.
So these guys are doing, there's some really creative and inventive ways that these guys are doing these breaks, that we are all doing these breaks. Now, the way that I'm doing it is a little bit different than everybody else. I'm not kidding, I'm taking all 18 cases, I'm doing one break.
Yeah, one giant.
One break. So it's and I'll be honest with you, your listeners can go do price checks if they want. I am the cheapest on the entire list.
So you can set your own price, like Topps doesn't say.
So I already talked to Topps about it. You
Yeah.
do whatever you want to do. They urged me, don't set a price where you're going to lose money on this because we have to pay for our own flights down there. They're paying for a day in a hotel. I mean, we pay for everything else, but they're like, you can do whatever you want. If you wanted to do it for free, you can do it for free. But and then he was like, you really want to lose money? Is that a smart business decision? And he's right. It's not.
Yeah.
So I set a price where I knew that I would literally break even. So for you to get into my break, which is all 18 cases, it's $400.
Yeah.
So for $400, all cards will ship.
Yeah.
Everything.
And
so on average per person, it's 49,500 cards total in the break. If you take that and divide it by 30, that's how many cards you could get. You could get more, you could get less. But on average, that's how many cards each person will get. Now, the way I'm doing it is, since there are 18 cases, I don't want you guys to get stuck with a crappy team if you do, right? So every case, you will get a different random team.
Oh, I like that.
Yep. So to be completely honest, the Indians usually aren't a good team in this type of break. So if you got hit with the Indians in case 1, we re-randomized for case 2, and you could get the Astros, which is the best team in the product.
Yeah.
Right? So it comes out to me, I come out to about only $22.20 per case for random teams. All cards ship. And it's going to cost me for shipping, it's going to cost me a regional rate C box, which is a massive box. We're already prepping to send about 30 of those down to Dallas to our hotel, and we are shipping from Dallas.
Wow.
Arlington.
That's something right there, man. That's crazy.
Exactly. A lot of the other breakers are not shipping veteran base. A lot of the other breakers.
That's been a big bugaboo. A lot of people are not. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people are not happy about that. And so when I heard you say we're shipping everything, man, kudos. Yeah. I'm not just saying this. A lot of people will say kudos to 101. That's very cool.
And that's the other thing that I live by is I think they're not and you know this, you've seen me break. Yeah. 95 to I would say 98% of my breaks that I do year round, I ship everything. Yeah. Number one, I don't want the clutter. Yeah. Number two, I don't care about base cards. They're yours. Yeah. You paid for it. They're yours. You want to burn them? You can burn them. You want to give them to your kids? Give them to your kids. You want to donate them? You can donate them. Or if you want me to donate them, I'll donate them. But it's the only products that I will not ship veteran base in or paper base in is Bowman Draft. I mean, that's just, and everybody, it's industry wide. That is just a product where nobody wants the paper base. It doesn't ship. We donate it to our local YMCAs or commonsforkids.org. But in this break, the Million Pack event, we are shipping everything. We are not donating anything. So I have a lot of guys who say, I don't want the base card, just donate it for me. You will have to donate it yourself. Yeah. We can't donate it in this situation.
Well, not only are you shipping everything, you're shipping them from Dallas while you're there.
Correct, yeah. So we will ship it from a USPS location somewhere in Arlington. We'll find one. And every person will get a regional rate C box, and it will go. So the break is on Tuesday. Their boxes will get shipped out on Wednesday. Sorry, next day. Yeah. Next day shipping on this break because we will be sorting it at the event, sleeving and top loading at the event. And when we get back to our hotel, Wednesday is our sorting day and shipping day. So I am bringing down to Arlington. I am bringing my Dynamo printers, both of them. I'm bringing 3 computers. So we can ship while we're in the hotel room.
That's crazy, man. That's cool, though. I mean, you're going to be like a well-oiled. You're going to have to be a well-oiled machine. You almost got no choice. So.
Yep, definitely.
Well, that's cool, man. Very cool on the invite. I think that speaks, volumes to your reputation, what you're doing, Steve. I know it already, but it's nice that. Someone like Topps is recognizing that too. I'm sure I'll cover it some more and check in with it. It sounds like you're gonna be working, but you're also it's gonna be a labor of love too. So it sounds like it's gonna be a blast as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for it. I'm just ready for it to be here. Of course, I'm stressed out about it. As always, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. But we are trying to get our ducks in a row now, rather than like for the National, we put our ducks in a row like a week prior to leaving. Yeah. So I've already ordered all my Pelican cases, which I'll ship my PC in. I'll ship my monitors in so they don't break. I'll ship my cords. I'll ship everything there. My printers and everything, and it'll be down there waiting for me in the hotel room. So we've already booked our flights, we've already booked our rental, we've got everything booked. We even got Topgolf booked on Wednesday night. We're ready to go.
You got your itinerary is set.
That is right. Yeah.
All right.
The other cool thing about the event is, and I'm a little bit different than everybody else is, if your listeners tune in to my Instagram, I will give them behind-the-scenes access because no other breaker goes live from their phones. Yeah. So you'll be able to see it. I mean, I will get up. I will walk around until they tell me to sit the hell down.
Well, don't get kicked out.
Exactly. I mean, I would go do interviews with, if there are special guests there. I am the only one on my phone. I mean, so if your listeners want to see that stuff, me rolling into AT&T Stadium, going behind the scenes, I'll be live the entire walk-in.
I'm sure.
I'll be live while I'm talking to Topps. I'll be live while I'm talking to special guests. And then I'll be live when I hook the phone up to break. Yep. So I'm sure a lot of people will be interested, especially when they may not be able to get that kind of coverage, somewhere else. So one quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Steve Chada from 101 Card Shop. Let me tell you about Iron Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're your number one source for all your PSA grading submission needs. They're constantly submitting, so they are always at the ready when you're ready. They offer various turnaround levels at the lowest prices around.
Cards are insured to and from PSA at no additional cost to you. And they even provide the card savers your precious cards need to be put in before being sent to PSA. They take care of that for you. And because of their elite status at PSA, they have some of the best turnaround times around. They even have group chats for each submission, so you know exactly where your status is on your cards. They have open dialogue and open communication. What are you waiting for? Contact Rob on Facebook, on Iron Sports Card Group. That's Iron Sports Card Group on Facebook. Or get a hold of Rob on Twitter at Iron Sports Cards. All one word, at Iron Sports Cards. They'll take care of you. Well, I got to close. I started off talking about a little bit NFL, and you're obviously a Browns guy. I'm a Steeler guy. Your Browns got rid of not only the GM, but Freddie Kitchens, the coach. They just hired Kevin, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Cisnansky, the OC from Minnesota. 5-year deal. A lot of years for someone that's not really proven, especially at the head coach position. I spoke to you off the air, but your thoughts, being a Browns fan, what do you think of that, and where are they going here?
So your initial thoughts are you're really disappointed. McDaniels came here. He's won Super Bowls. He has coached, and whether you like him or not,
yeah,
and I know you really don't like him, he has coached the best quarterback of all time. The quarterback he's coaching has 6 NFL rings, and no other NFL quarterback can say that. Whether he cheated to get there or not, is what it is. He's got 6 rings on his fingers. I hate Brady, but it is what it is. So you had a guy that you interviewed who has that on his resume, and you've got a guy who is an interim OC turned OC and has offensive assistants helping him game plan, right? That came in and got the job over him. I am, at face value, I was disgusted when I first found out. We've got all these offensive weapons. It'd be great to see McDaniels and arguably better offensive weapons than the Patriots have ever had, minus Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But, everyone in Cleveland's upset because, McDaniels went to John Carroll, which is just outside of, near Cleveland. So he's got local ties. He brought his wife here to bring back old memories and stuff. They loved it. Now, just like you had heard, I heard the same exact thing. There's a power struggle with McDaniels already because our owners are absolutely bonkers when it comes to these things and need to control everything.
Yeah.
So, just like you heard, I heard as well, there needs to be a control in place with the head coach where he reports directly to our owner, which makes no sense because our owner is an idiot.
Yeah.
So Daniel said, no, I'm not doing that. Look at my background. This is what I imagine you'd say. No, I've got Super Bowls under my belt. You don't. I'm not reporting to you. Why would I do that? I can only imagine he said it in a more professional way, right?
Yeah.
While Stefanski probably told them everything they wanted to hear to get the job.
Yep.
Now, am I saying Stefanski did a bad job? No. Minnesota's offensive stats were unbelievable this year, especially with Kirk Cousins' renaissance going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They did great. Dalvin Cook did great, and I hope he brings that blocking scheme into Cleveland because we have a phenomenal running back in Nick Chubb who can't be stopped. And I will say it on your podcast, and I know a lot of people won't like it. To be the best running back in the 2018 draft class, you need to be healthy, and you need to be a good runner.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb is healthy. He's a better running back than Saquon. And I will say it all day, every day. I don't care what anybody says. You can say
I like Nick Chubb. I think he is a great back, but I'll respectfully disagree. With
face value, you can say that Saquon is better, but to be the best, you have to be on the field, right?
I agree. So, well, it's for in the 2-year body of work, you know what I mean. But
here's the thing, though: in a 2-year body of work, Nick Chubb started week 9 in his first year, and he almost had over 1,000 yards rushing, and he didn't start until the 9th week of the season.
Yeah.
Right. So, starting games wise, they're about equal, and Chubb has better stats than he does. Catching, no, obviously not, but I will argue it all day, every day. He's a bruiser. He's second in the NFL in rushing yards. They are a different type of running back. It's like the Christian McCaffreys of the world versus Derrick Henry. I get it.
Yeah.
But to say the least, I hope he brings that blocking scheme into Cleveland for Chubb. We kind of got away from it, and I know you saw it during that last Pittsburgh game. For some reason, Freddie didn't like running Nick Chubb, and it makes no sense. The guy is a monster, and he just didn't like doing it. So anything is better than last year. And this is where I currently reside on the situation. Anything is better than last year. Stefanski's has to be better than Freddie. It was awful, right? Am I upset? Sure, I am. I can't pronounce the guy's name either until today when I looked it up with
He might not have to. He might not be there. He might not be there that long.
So, I mean, I truly believe that we are in a vicious circle until our owners sell it.
Yeah, but they're fairly new. That's the thing, and it's funny when they came in and you know, Cleveland got hot the second part of 2018, and people were buying in. The Haslams were like the toast of the town, and they've kind of like did a 180. They've went from, you know, very well liked to like public enemy number one very quickly.
Yep, it's unbelievable. I'll tell you that right now. It's
it's crazy,
it's crazy.
And I just don't know. You fired your head coach in Kitchens, short of his deal being done, obviously. And I agree with. I think he had to go, but why would you give the next guy who's not really proven a 5-year deal? Like what garnered what made him, you know, give him a 5-year deal? Why not 2 or 3 years?
I'm with you on it. They love, for some reason, they love showing head coaches that they hire that they are committed to them. Now, you know as well as I do, and so do your listeners, that the Browns are never committed to an NFL coach. And like I said before, it's laughable because we are currently paying like 3 other head coaches for their deals right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, what's scary is in the last decade, we have not had a winning season. Did you know that?
Yeah, I kind of figured. I thought
we were the only team in the NFL to not have a winning season in the from years 2010 to 2020.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
man.
what's scary? Here's what's scarier: the most winningest coach that the Browns had in that decade was Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, well, he's available.
No, thank you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I hear you. Well, you know, like you said, you're moving on from Kitchens. The Haslams are the Haslams. You know, they don't even have a GM at the moment. They're interviewing one of the Eagles front office guys, and he's the leader in the clubhouses from all reports. And so it's funny, you know, usually a GM likes to hire their own head coach, and this is being done in reverse.
It's ass backwards. That's exactly how the Browns have been for the past 25 years. You know this.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, listen, I can't laugh too hard. Both of our teams were playing golf while certain other teams were on the field still. So, you know, I guess I'll speak for both of us. I just hope 2020 is a lot better than 2019 was.
I agree. And I said this to you before, and it showed true. The Steelers need to get a quarterback.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, Steve, I think they thought Mason Rudolph was going to be the guy.
I think I told you on the show in September I liked Rudolph as well, but he really showed that he really wasn't.
Yeah, no, he's got terrible pocket presence. He doesn't feel the rush. He fumbles the ball when he gets hit. He's got a great arm, but, you know, great arms aren't enough to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. So I think they're back at square one. This is a debate amongst Steeler fans. There's a few that still are holding on hope that he is the heir apparent, but I'll speak from a personal point of view. I don't believe so. So they're still in the market for whoever the next guy is going to wind up being.
What do you think would be interesting if you guys went after Marcus Mariota?
It's funny. Did you read that? Because I've been reading that.
I really did. No, it was off the top of my head.
You're on to something, because that's been in the press that is someone that might be someone they should pursue. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm not a huge Mariota guy, but you know, he has played well in spurts, and I'll say this: he's better than Mason Rudolph. So if we're
100%,
if we're comparing those two, and you give me a choice, I'll take Mariota 10 times out of 10.
Here's the deal: nobody thought Tannehill was going to be Tannehill.
Yeah,
he just got signed because they needed a backup for Mariota, right? So Big Ben needs to have a viable backup. If you don't have one,
Well, we
You're
saw
gonna
what
look like
happened.
clowns out
They
there,
were
right?
they were exposed this year for that.
Yeah.
And whether Ben plays another year or two, Steve, he's shown. It seems like every year he's going to be down for at least 2 to 3 games. That's like almost best case scenario. So you need that next guy that can come in and maybe win you 2 out of 3 games until he can get back on the field. They don't have that right now, and they may not admit it, but I think they themselves know internally. So it's going to be an interesting offseason. Maybe Mariota, like you said, is wearing black and gold next year. I'm not opposed. I'd actually support that move. So
I'll be the first to get you for your very first Mariota jersey.
If I have a Mariota jersey, someone gave it to me. It's definitely not going to be. It's not going to be purchased. So, well, Steve, again, man, thanks for coming on. I know we talked 4 months ago with this event coming up. I wanted you to highlight it, and it's an honor for you to be distinguished as one of those guys that gets to go. I'll be following you for sure, and like you said, for anyone listening, Steve's going to, with his phone, do some behind the scenes filming where you can get a bird's eye view that you may not get anywhere else. And for an event like this, like you said, Guinness Book of Records going to be there. Whatever you say about the event, the base card controversy, it's still going to be a huge event for hobby. It's going to be history making as well, and you're going to be a part of it. So congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So again, Steve Chada, thank you. 101 Card Shop. Just in closing, if you want to give out your websites and all your handles where people can see what's going on.
Yeah, so if you guys want to head over to the website, it's www.oneofonecardshop.com. My Instagram handle, you guys should know that. It's at One of One Card Shop. There are underscores between every single word. So
yeah.
It's at one_of_one_card_shop. I don't know why I did that. Don't ask. Twitter it's all the same across the brand. So Twitter is at One of One Card Shop, no underscores. And then the YouTube account is at it's just One of One Card Shop. So we're live every night. We've got personals from 1 to 5 p.m. and then I break from 8:30 to about 3:30 or 4 a.m. every day.
Yep. So this 9 hours in Dallas is going to be a cakewalk then.
Yep, that's correct.
All right. Well, Steve, have fun, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Awesome stuff. Thanks for coming on, and we'll do it again, obviously, as well.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Tired of that standard annoying team bag? You know the ones I'm talking about. They get wrinkly, baggy, scratched up, and cloudy where you barely can see your prize cards anymore. I was too, until I found the answer. And that answer was crystal clear. That answer, Superior Fit Sleeves. These sleeves are crystal clear, smooth as silk, and have been what collectors have been longing for all this time. The solution comes in all sizes, from thick magnetics, top loader size, graded cards, and many, many more. I use them. I swear by them. Find yours today at www.superiorfitsleeves.com or go to eBay and search eBay seller Richie707. That's RICHY 707. You can thank me later. Every once in a while on this show, we have more than one guest. This week, qualify as that as well, as I'm bringing on another person. I know a little bit in the social media ranks. His name is Tyler Murphy. Very big on Twitter. And one thing I love with Tyler, he does a lot for the hobby community, does a lot for the community. He's a guy that does for others and cares about people, and that's refreshing. We need more, frankly, of that. And he's got a thing. He's a charity drive he's doing. He reached out, and I gladly said, "Hey, come on the show. We'll talk about it. Get some attention to it." So, without further ado, Tyler Murphy, welcome to Sports Card Nation.
Hey, John, how you doing, man?
Good. So you're doing a sock drive. I know in your area, you said you're between right near the border of South and North Carolina. He says socks are kind of can be a need, especially this time of year. I know you don't get as much snow as we do here in New York, but it does get cold. I've been to South Carolina. It's not our winters, thankfully, for you, but you do get some chilly temps, and socks are a thing that sometimes people definitely need. So, kind of talk about how you got this started, what it is, and how everyone can help.
Yeah, so I was looking for a way to give back, and in doing my research, there's clothing drives all the time, and there's food drives all the time, and I noticed that the most needed and the least donated item for people are socks, and sometimes we don't take the time to appreciate how good having clean, fresh socks is. There's just a level of comfort when you put on a nice pair of socks, and I'm no salesman, so I'm not going to sound good when I do this, but when I saw that there was a need, and I saw it was a relatively inexpensive way to impact a lot of people's lives, I had to jump on it, and so that's why I came to the conclusion that socks is the item that we needed to come together and donate.
Yeah, and you make a great point, Tyler. A lot of times when there's clothing drives, you get pants, you get shirts, coats, that sort of thing, and socks are kind of an afterthought, and obviously this would entail new socks, folks. Don't go in your sock drawer and give away the socks you don't like anymore. It's not that kind of sock drive, but fresh new socks, like Tyler said. Apparel sometimes we take for granted. If your feet have ever gotten cold, you're out in the snowy weather or the chilly temps. Once your feet or your head gets cold, man, it's over. And so a very important appendage. And I'm not to be dramatic. Frostbite is a real thing and not fun. And people, unfortunately, every year get it and sometimes lose appendages due to it. And obviously, we don't want that. We want people to be warm and comfortable and head to toe. So toes are included here with this sock drive. So obviously, like I mentioned, we're talking new and packaged socks. Very easy to go to your Walmart or whatever department stores in your area, grab a pack or two and support this. It's not going to cost you much to do it. I'm going to participate. Makes you feel good, and you're helping someone who might not be as fortunate as us to help them out. Talk about, Tyler, kind of long term, what you want to do and that sort of thing.
So long term, the plan is to make this a thing for hobby people to latch onto in different states throughout the country. And when I interact with people on Twitter, I see a group of individuals, and there's the most amount of potential in those individuals is the untapped kindness that they have with these big hearts, and there's nowhere to channel it. And so now this is going to give a bunch of people in the country an opportunity to channel that kindness in their heart to do for others. And so while it's going to be a very regional thing right now, I'm going to try to hit South Carolina, North Carolina. Next year I wanted to open up to the nation, and we have a bunch of great people throughout or in this nation, in this country, that can do their part to make a huge impact on a lot of people's lives. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to watching it grow from this. But it's not a small thing. I'm not going to call this a small thing because one pair of socks is huge for somebody.
Yep.
But from this humble beginning to this explosion of kindness that we never saw ourselves doing, maybe not even a week ago. So the plan is make it go national by 2021.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I think it serves obviously a need and a purpose, and like you said, this is just at the beginning. Maybe it'll branch out. Who knows what direction it goes? And I'm sure the response. I'm hoping, and I think the response will be great. And I'm old. I'm 47, and so I've always tried, even as a younger person. I've always, I've been blessed, and I've always tried to help others that maybe aren't as blessed and do things like that. And when when I saw your post and you tagged me, I said, no problem. Very easy to help out. Have you come on, talk about it, get that attention drummed up, and like you said, you start here and hopefully it becomes, you're going regional first, and then eventually maybe you can, open it up and go national with it. And who knows where else it might, expand to in other apparel and whatnot. I know you mentioned to me, off the air. I'm assuming you can talk about it. Bombas has stepped up and pledged a commitment.
Yeah. So Bombas, for those who don't know, is a stock company who does a lot of great things in giving back. And I'm pretty sure if you buy a pair, they give a pair.
Yep.
Well, when they saw my video on Twitter, they through the help of someone else, through the help of a friend on Twitter, they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we're going to send you something. We love what you're doing." And I had to correct them. I want you to love what we're doing because this is a we thing.
Yeah.
But so literally not an hour before you're calling me right now, they sent me a box, and it was a 45-pound box full of socks.
Wow.
So it totals 400 pairs of socks. Now, my goal in the video, I said I wanted 365 pairs of socks by the end of the year. So through Bombas, we've already exceeded the goal that I've set. But that doesn't mean we're done. And a goal never means you're done. A goal means that you get to set a new goal. And so now my new goal is 1,000 pairs of socks by the end of the year. And I know we can do it. And I know it'll be done by the end of June. But yeah, it's people, it's companies like Bombas. It's people like you who don't mind sacrificing a little bit to invest a lot into people who really need a lot. So I'm very fortunate and grateful for you, for Bombas, and everybody else that's already donated and shown interest so far.
Yeah, well, nope, give yourself a little credit too, Tyler. You everything's got to start with a kickoff. You started this. I know you're a modest guy, and you don't want to pat yourself on the back. So I'll do the honors for you. It's got to start somewhere. It started with you. That's awesome that Bombas came through like that. And even though they went over the goal, like you said, you just raised the bar higher, and you keep going. And that's awesome. I'm a karma guy. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if karma's a real entity, but even as a kid, I believed in karma. I believe you do good things and you help people out. Some good fortune will be bestowed on you in return. What kind of, the old saying, what comes around goes around. Again, it's something I believe in. I know I'm not the only one. And, and even if it's not real, it doesn't hurt to believe in it. So, kudos to you for stepping up, thinking of those less fortunate than us. And for me, I appreciate you saying thanks, but for me, I gladly help out. It's a no-brainer. It's something I've done for a long time, or I've tried to. And before I let you go, I'm going to have you back on in another episode with more time for sure, and we'll talk about sports cards and other fun stuff as well too. But kind of give out where people, those who are listening and want to send socks, or even maybe if they don't want to send socks and just want to send funds that can go towards the cause, let people out there know how they can help, how they can get involved.
So yeah, you can reach me on Twitter at Hey It's Tmurph, T-M-U-R-P-H. I'll be more than happy to talk to you, to settle your nerves about sending PayPal money or sending socks to somewhere that you don't know from somebody you just heard on this podcast. I can be vouched for by a gazillion people on Twitter, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have about where they're going, what we're doing this for. Any information you need, I'm an open book, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So, at Hey It's Murph.
Yep, and for what it's worth, Tyler's a good guy. He's got, I'll vouch for him 8 days a week, and it's nice that guys like Tyler exist and give back and do things. And like I said, it's all on the up and up. I'll put my reputation on it as well. So reach out, like he said. He gave you the credentials. Reach out to him. Think about what 3 or 6 pairs of socks cost at Walmart or other stores. Very little, but that can go a long way to helping someone less fortunate. So hopefully those of you are listening, step up and help Tyler out in what he's doing, which is a great thing. Tyler, hey, thanks again for coming on. Thanks for doing what you do, and you do a lot of other things too. I don't want to make it like all of a sudden, I know you've done other things in the past, and this is just another one of those things to add to the list. So we appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much, John, for your time. I really appreciate you letting me on.
We love our listeners. Without you, there is no us. We care about your opinions and feedback and invite you to reach out to us on any of our social media accounts. On Instagram at Sports Card Nation Podcast, Twitter at SportsCardNati1, or email the show at sportscardnationpc@gmail.com. We don't ask for much, but if you really like the show, give us a shout out. Tell your friends or give us a follow on our social medias. If you enjoyed the show, please give us a positive review on iTunes or any of the platforms you are listening on. Thank you.
Well, that does it for another episode of the Sports Card Nation podcast. Want to thank my 2 guests that appeared on this show. First off, Tyler Murphy, doing great things in the hobby community, doing great things for others, not just in the hobby community, but as you heard him, coming up with this sock drive for his local community, something that they desperately need. I hope everyone hears that message. I know I'm going to be sending some socks down that way. I hope others do too. Think about how little that may cost. A couple packages of socks shipping, $15, $20 at the max, and what it can do for someone. And that's worth more than the $10, $15, or $20 it may cost. And, that stuff, I'm a karma guy, guys. I believe in karma. I believe in you do good things for good people, and good things will be bestowed on you. And, it's been that way with the show. If I want to attribute it to that, I don't know. I don't know if karma is real. I believe in it. If it's not real, no one gets hurt anyway by believing in karma. It just makes you do good things for good people, and you can't go wrong when you do that. Want to thank Steve Chada from 101 Card Shop, one of our sponsors. But more than that, just a great breaker. So great, in fact, that he's one of those limited breakers that got invited to the million card rip by Topps in Dallas at Texas Stadium, AT&T Stadium. And he let us in a little bit. He lowered the curtain a little bit. We got to see and hear about what that event entails. And, I'm going to be honest with you, self-confession. I kind of rushed to judgment on the event a little bit, made a few comments, not knowing the full scope of it. And sometimes we do that too fast, or we don't like a certain company, let's say, and we just throw out everything they do and don't take everything on an individual basis. And, a lot of people criticizing the event that the base cards, no one's shipping base cards, and I don't think that's Topps. I think you got to look at the individual breakers when it comes to the base card topic. You heard Steve say 101 is going to send out everything, all base card. Not only are they going to ship everything, they're going to ship it from DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, while they're there. They're not even going to delay it. So whoever buys into 101's million card rip breaks are going to have their stuff rather quickly, and that's very cool. And when I say have their stuff rather quickly, all their stuff, all cards ship. And so if you want to get mad, and I'm guilty of this too, initially you get mad at the event, and that because you're hearing all base cards aren't shipping. That's an individual breaker that you have to break it down to. It's not tops. It's these individual breakers' decisions and how they're setting up their breaks and the format they're using. Steve is sending out everything, so kudos to him. Again, pretty cool of him kind of to let us see behind the curtain a little bit before the event. Like he said, check him out on the day of the event. He's going to be doing some behind-the-scenes video and with his camera phone. So you'll get to see probably a perspective that others won't. So check 101 out. They're doing some great stuff, and happy that he's one of our sponsors and all of our sponsors. A little bit of a pat on the back to them, but a deservedly one. 101 with Steve, Rob Valente, Iron Sports cards with the PSA submissions, Matt from Firebox card cases. Superior Fit sleeves, all sponsor show, and they're not just sponsors. They're products I use, services I utilize, and so I can attest to what they do and the excellent services and products they provide. This isn't a situation where a restaurant, pays people to just give 5-star reviews on Yelp without eating the food. I use the products. I can tell you they're good, they're bad, and in this case, very good. And I'm not a shill for them. And it's nice having sponsors that you can attest to personally. And I'm glad they're with Sports Card Nation podcast, part of the family, as they say. And hopefully that continues. And check all their products out. From the card cases to the sleeves, to the PSA submissions, they all take what they do seriously, provide great service, and that's always great in the hobby when you can find people that do that. You hear enough of the horror stories on the other end of the spectrum, and I'm happy to align myself with such great companies. So they're turning the lights off. I guess that's the sign. Got to wrap it up, but we'll see you in 7 days, next Friday, for episode 60, the 6-0.
You've been listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast. Join host John Newman next week as he gives you another jam-packed episode of all things related to the sports card hobby. And a little extra fun, too. Don't forget to check out the show on Instagram at Sports Card Nation Podcast.